What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL, and here to talk about what the Chicago Bears should do after the Carson Wentz trade went down, and now he is a member of the Indianapolis Colts. Thank goodness, because I obviously did not want him in Chicago, but now that's another quarterback off the board. So where do the Bears go from here? So let's talk about it. I'm going to break it down on the whiteboard behind me. With that being said, if you're new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and subscribe if you have not done so already, guys. Hit the bell icon to be notified every time I drop a new video. And guys, please make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Links as always down below and on the stream. Let's begin, shall we? All right, here we go. So hopefully you guys recognize this, because these were the names that I had went through and ranked for the Chicago Bears in terms of their quarterback options. And as you will notice, who is number 7 on this list? It is, of course, Carson Wentz, who is now in Indianapolis Colts. So we can officially get Carson out of here and get him off this list, because obviously he's no longer, thankfully, an option for the Chicago Bears. But essentially, this was the list I gave you guys, right? And my ranking of the guys I prefer in order, right, from top to bottom. Obviously, Deshaun Watson at the top, and then we've got the Andy Daltons, the Jacoby Brissetts, the Tyrod Taylors of the world. So with that being said, where do the Bears go from here? This is how I would address it if I was Ryan Pace, okay? So essentially, I've talked about this as well. There's 2 deadlines, all right? We have deadline 1 and we have deadline 2, all right? There's 2 deadlines that the Bears have to worry about, and let me rewrite this over here so it doesn't get in the glare. There we go. Deadline 1 is free agency. All right. Deadline 2 is the draft. All right. Free agency started the new league year. The draft, obviously, the NFL draft is in April. So this is a month apart, March, April. All right. These are the 2 deadlines. We know that the big prize for the Chicago Bears is Deshaun Watson, right? And so that would be the home run. That would be the jackpot. The question I've proposed, and I've told you guys, how long should the Chicago Bears wait for Deshaun Watson? Right here. Until the draft. Until the draft, you are allowed to wait for Deshaun Watson. Once the draft is here, it's time to move on. Here's why. If the Texans have not traded Deshaun Watson by draft time, first of all, they're idiots if they haven't. But second of all, that means they are most likely going to go ahead and push this and extend it out until like training camp, start of the season. They might just call Deshaun's bluff and just not trade him, which again would be idiotic on their part, I believe, but that is a possibility. The Bears cannot afford to wait around for that and essentially sabotage their draft plans if they're not able to acquire Deshaun Watson by that time. So that is the deadline for Deshaun Watson. And he's the only one that gets a deadline because he is the best quarterback available, all right? And it's not close. These other guys, I'll get into in a second here. But how I want Ryan Pace to kind of work this is, day by day, obviously, but break it up into chunks, if you will. As the Bears head towards the new league year in free agency, the first thing I would be doing once, leading up to free agency is going and kind of taking the calls and finding out the asking price, right? I want to talk to Deshaun. I want to talk to Dak. I want to talk to Derek Carr, Jimmy G, Darnold. And when I say these guys, maybe I'm talking about the teams, right? Because obviously they're under contract. I actually want to talk to Deshaun, like put Deshaun on the line if I'm Ryan Pace. I want to talk to Dak because he's going to be a free agent. I want to talk to the Raiders because of Derek Carr, maybe even Marcus Mariota, who I actually didn't include here, but let's see if he's even available. I want to talk to the 49ers, the Jets for possibly Sam Darnold, and then the Jaguars. So I want to talk to all these teams, and I want to gauge what is the asking price to get a Gardner Minshew, to get a Sam Darnold. Not just Deshaun, obviously, which is going to be 3 first-round picks, 2-3 second-round picks, and a young star player at minimum, but all these other guys, all right? I want to do my homework if I'm Ryan Pace at that time. Do my homework, see what it takes, all right? But I'm not panicking yet. Now comes free agency. When we are at free agency, the first thing I need Ryan Pace to do, obviously check in and see if anything happened with Deshaun Watson. But if it hasn't, and the Texans aren't willing to trade him, then go ahead and go straight to Dak Prescott. Find out If Dak Prescott obviously is going to be a free agent and he is available to sign with another team. If not, if he's going back to the Cowboys, if they tagged him, obviously you're done there. There's nothing to do. But Dak Prescott is the big fish in free agency, right? You don't have to give up any assets to get him, which would be phenomenal for the Bears. So Dak Prescott is the preference in free agency. If he goes back to the Cowboys or goes with another team, then obviously you move on from Dak Prescott. But in this meantime, when you have moved on from Dak Prescott, don't panic, because free agency after Dak Prescott is garbage. This is free agency after Dak Prescott. Literally, Tyrod, Brissett, Dalton, Fitzpatrick, Jameis. Don't panic. Dak is out. Okay, let's go back and reassess. Now, what I need Ryan Pace to do is start to go ahead and call up, the 49ers for Jimmy G, the Raiders for Derek Carr, the Jets for Sam Darnold, and I apologize. It's going to get really messy here, but this is the master plan. Start calling again. This is the second call. Remember, we did a first call initially just to gauge the interest. Now this is the second call, because now I might be ready to give some concrete offers. All right? Find out what it takes. Don't even bother with these guys. This is literally plan E, right? Plan F. All right, after that happens, as we inch towards the draft, all right, you want to go back and re-gauge with Deshaun Watson and the Texans. But you might be asking, Faiz, what if at this time the Raiders are saying they want to trade Derek Carr, or the 49ers saying they want to trade Jimmy G, or the Jets will trade you Sam Darnold? Well, at this time, if they are willing to trade you these guys and the compensation is okay, because it really depends, right? If the Jets are saying, yeah, we'll give you Sam Darnold, but it's going to cost you a first-round pick, bye. I'm not going to give you a first-round pick or two for Sam Darnold. Not even close. So it's all about asking price. Same thing. If the Raiders say that we want 2 first-round picks for Derek Carr, sorry. Not taking that. So, again, if it's a good price and they are willing to trade him, go ahead and pounce on it. I'm okay. Pounce on it, even if you still don't know what happens with Deshaun. But more than likely what's going to happen is these teams are not going to just, be willing to give the Bears really what they are looking for. And so the Bears would have to pony up a little bit. So play a little bit of the waiting game. And as we inch closer to the draft, now it's time to turn up the pressure, because you don't want to end up with this, right? You don't want to end up with this. And this is why I drew the line here, because everything below the line is garbage. It's failure, all right? You end up with these guys as your 2021 starting quarterback, and now Ryan Pace might as well get himself the first flight out of Chicago and take Matt Nagy with him. So, as we inch closer to the draft, now one more engagement with Deshaun Watson. Find out. Make a hard push. This is your last sell. Listen, Deshaun, we want you. Do you want to come to Chicago? Give your selling point. You'd be a legend here. You're the Michael Jordan of football. That's what Dabo Swinney said, right? Well, come prove it in the city that MJ played in. Deshaun, we need you. We want you. We will give you 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, Roquan Smith, Darnell Mooney, whoever it is you want, we will do it for you, Deshaun. Sell the Texans on that. The Texans aren't biting. If Deshaun is whatever about coming here, or he doesn't want to come here, obviously now it's time to move on. And then that's where you go ahead and you start to take a look at those offers. Again, with these other quarterbacks, and you try to take a look at, okay, what's the best deal, right? So I've ranked them. This is how I prefer them. Derek Carr, number 1, then Jimmy G, then Darnold, then Minshew. If you want to flip Jimmy G and Darnold, I'm fine with that. But essentially, when you give that last engagement call to Deshaun at the draft time, so one more engagement here, and it doesn't work out, then it's time to go back to all these guys, right? At this point, Dak Prescott's gone because he was gone in the first deadline, which is free agency. So when you go to these guys, again, we're focusing on what the asking price is. So here is how I would do it if I'm the Chicago Bears, if I'm Ryan Pace. If it costs you 2 first-round picks to get Derek Carr, and it costs you a second-round pick and a third-round pick, or 2 third-round picks to get Sam Darnold, I would rather maybe have Sam Darnold. So, again, the difference from Deshaun and Dak to these guys is still pretty substantial, folks. So really, like, if I'm missing out on Sam Darnold, or, if I miss out on Jimmy Garoppolo, and, obviously we start the 2021 season, I'm not going to feel that bad. I really am not. I'm sorry. So if I miss out on Deshaun Watson, I could have had him, yeah, I would feel bad. So at this point, it's all about compensation. All about compensation, and you make it happen. And I feel fairly confident that the Bears will end up with one of these 4 quarterbacks that you have here. That's how I feel about it, folks. Again, it's not the big names. It's certainly not the sexy names, but there's only one team that's going to get Deshaun Watson, and, there's a chance it might not be the Chicago Bears. So that is how I would address, how we go from here if you are the Bears after, obviously, Matt Stafford got dealt, after Carson Wentz got dealt, and now you need to make and find a plan, right? This would be the plan. First deadline, free agency. Second deadline, draft. So let me know if you guys agree, disagree. As always, thanks for watching.